Hello Year 12, thank you for making me your models. I just made this afternoon and I just want to talk to you about what the chloroplast is made up of, because we're moving on to the topic photosynthesis, and for you to really fully understand this topic you need to understand how the chloroplast is built. So if we have a look at my chloroplast here, you can see to begin with you've got the outer membrane which is in blue, and then you've got the inner membrane which is in red. In between the outer and the inner membrane, you've got what we call the intermembrane space. And that is a tiny space that obviously separates both the outer and the inner membrane from each other. Now, if we have a look inside, you can see that we've got these yellow discs. Now, those discs there are called thylakoids. So that's how you spell it. Now, those discs are actually, if I was to take one of these out, you can see that they're stacked on top of each other. So the thylakoids are all stacked on top of each other. Now we call a stack of thylakoids a granum. So I'll put that next to there, and you'll notice that they are connected by something called lamella. So if I try and take that lamella out and put it under that flag there, so you can see that that's a lamella, that is a granum. And then if I separate one of the granums, you will see that they are made up of discs of thylakoids. So there we go. And that is what your chloroplast is made up of. Nothing too complicated. So just to recap, you've got your thylakoids, which are there. You've got your granum, which is your stack of thylakoids. There we are. And you've got your lamella, which are the things that obviously connect those stacks together. And then this part here will obviously be fluid filled, and that is what we call the stroma. So the stroma will be that fluid filled area that your thylakoids are all stacked up on. Remember, you've got this red part, which is the inner membrane. So if I take this out, got your inner membrane, I'll put that next to there. Got your inner membrane, and then obviously you've got your intermembrane space, and then you've obviously got your outer membrane just there. So that is what the chloroplast is made up of. Now, the other question that I asked you is, where does the light-dependent reaction take place, and where does the light-independent reaction take place? Well, first of all, nice and easy, the light-independent reaction is going to take place inside the stroma. So I'll put the stroma next to it there. So that's where the light-independent reaction will take place. So that's obviously the fluid-filled area that we talked about previously. What about the light-dependent reaction? Well, I'll show you where that takes place. It is to do with the thylakoid. So I'll take one of these thylakoids here, and if I dissect it with my knife, let me show you what it looks like inside. So you can see there in yellow, you've got what's called the thylakoid membrane, and then in white is what you call a thylakoid lumen. Now, it is the membrane of the thylakoid is where our light-dependent reaction is going to take place. So that's what you have to remember moving forward. So your light-dependent reaction will take place in the membrane of the thylakoid, not the whole of the thylakoid, just the membrane, which is in yellow. And then obviously you've got the lumen, which is in white. So there we go. That is the start of photosynthesis. Make sure that you fully understand how a chloroplast is made, and I'll see you soon.